All right, no formal intro to this show. Marcos isn't even on yet. He's oh, he is. Oh, all of a sudden. All right, hit your video. I got everything set up.
All right, video's on.
Well, I need your video on.
It is on.
No, it ain't.
I'm on Discord.
I don't see you.
You gotta get me. You gotta
There you are. Now you appear. All right. Oh man. All right. This is not running optimally. So today is going to be a bit of a technical thing. Look at how slow this is running. At least on my Streamlabs. Are you on YouTube? Can you get on YouTube real quick?
Yeah, I'm getting that.
Excuse me. I'm getting.
Yeah, it's a lot of lag.
Yeah, man. 25% of frames over the last few seconds. Yeah, it's running at 25. See, this is why I don't like updates. I had to download an update right before this. This is probably why. It's being all weird. It might have reset some, I don't know, I'm wondering if maybe it reset some, settings. So let me see. And while I'm doing that, how you doing, man?
Chill's good, just freaking. Yeah, it's just had a longer week. Not really, but the wife is going back to teaching full time again, so we've just been doing that whole thing. So that's been. I basically my mornings are kind of jam packed. I got the boys in the morning. And then my mother-in-law comes around noon, and then I go to work. So,
dang, that's a busy life, man.
I started hitting the gym again, so now I'm going to the gym after work. So it's like basically I wake up, like 7 or 8 with the boys and stuff, and then get going, go to work at around 1, go to the gym, and come home about like 11:30 or 12:30. If I want to play some games, watch a show, I'll do that for a couple hours, and I'll go to bed and rinse and repeat.
Nice.
But I've been tracking my sleep, especially for the past week or two, and
yeah, you sleeping good?
My body, my body has I only get about 5.5 hours of actual sleeping done. Like no matter if I go to bed and I have 8 hours of sleeping or whatever, like I'm only actually sleeping like 5.5 of it is what my watch is telling me. So I think as long as I give myself 5 to 6 hours, I'm usually pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I'm not a morning person, and for me, like I have to just get up, and if I don't get up, I'll lay for. I'm much more of a night owl.
Yeah. I was for the longest time. I think I still am.
5 a.m. And
Oof.
Yeah.
Why is Chrome running all this shit?
What about you, man? How you been?
I'm all right. I'm slogging along. It's been tough finding the. I mean, I'm still pretty much in the same same place I've been for a while. So, which is kind of shitty, but I'm kind of slowly crawling out of it. Just got life stuff going on. I'm stable in work and with the kids. That's like what's going smooth. It's just I know when my work schedule is. I know when I'm going to be at the hospital. I'm probably going to be picking up a couple extra days here soon. Because Kim will finally, after like 4 more weeks, is going to be switching over to days, from what I'm told. Nice. So that'll be like a load off for sure.
Do you have to? Is nursing one of the professions where you have to like bid for shifts, or is it like first come first serve seniority? How does it work?
It depends. When I was at the ICU, they were self-scheduled, so you literally just signed up on your own for whatever shifts you wanted. And well, there's a difference between like being self-scheduled and then like acting that way. Like there are a few rules, like you had to take up some weekends and whatnot, but like because nursing is like chronically short-staffed, hospitals in general, they end up like working around the self-scheduling system a lot. So it's like we need you to work this, that. So it ends up being kind of a mix. But I mean, it was you just have to be super proactive in that case, and then sometimes like you'll kind of be pressured to switch around. And currently, with the state the industry's in, like there's not a lot you can do about that except unionize. So,
Mm.
but since I'm
Is there
currently,
a nurses union? Is that a thing?
oh yeah, man, all Washington nurses are unionized for the most part,
Oh, okay. Okay.
except for certain hospitals like Gig Harbor's. What is it, St. Andrews, I
Mm.
think. They're the only ones that didn't unionize in the region. Um,
Oh, interesting.
but they still got all the benefits of, like all the pay benefits and everything of everyone else
Right.
unionizing
Right.
because of the competition. But yeah, down in the South, man, like people are just so brainwashed against unions.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think I'm gonna spend some of my free time though volunteering to do union organizing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And I talk about
Oh,
that
cool.
shit at work all the time, and
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I got the time, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
running
I'm
like
looking.
trash. I do not like this. So what I'm gonna do
Yeah.
is I'm
Maybe
wondering if
restart
it's
the
Elden
stream
Ring.
and maybe restart the. You can try to restart the stream at a lower output. Like I don't know what your output is, but like even on my stream on Twitch, I have to I think I put the output at like 780 or something like that. Like I put it less than what I'm actually playing at, just so it runs smoother. But it also it could be just the game running too.
Yeah, it was,
Uh,
dude. Because I run this at 4K.
oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the
So
rest of
that's
I mean, my hardware's decent, but it's not good enough to stream a video call and a 4K
yeah.
game. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
This
You'll
is
need you'll
this
need
is
dual
smooth.
PC. Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay,
Yeah, that 4K
yeah,
was
we're
killing
good.
it. Damn.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
wild.
I forgot because it runs so well like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I haven't had any problems running this game. It runs beautifully. But yeah, so I just beat it. Finally.
Oh, you beat the game?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm on
Yeah.
New Game Plus already.
That's crazy.
I
So
mean,
was
it's
it
not as
was
crazy
it
as some runs I've seen. Some super impressive ones, but
Yeah, everybody
dude,
is it all the business that everybody's talking about or
I
what?
thought yeah, I highly recommend this game, and for a lot of good reasons. I mean, mainly, dude, it's given me an experience that I have not had with a game in a long time. The experience of an open world that I'm actually interested in exploring rather than feels like a burden to. Like
Sure,
with,
sure.
dude, Assassin's Creed, fucking, what was it? Assassin's Creed, fucking Viking,
Valhalla?
whatever.
Yeah.
Valhalla, yeah.
Yeah.
I put like maybe 10 hours into that shit, and I'm not gonna lie, I just died for no reason. Not gonna lie, it was just overwhelming. I'm looking at everything in
Yeah.
there, and it's just like all this shit just in your face all the time.
Right.
There's actually this hilarious meme for Elden Ring where it's just a screen cap of like the HUD and everything, but then it's got
Mhm.
like quest markers like all over the place, and like just like UI elements they just make up and just pour in there and shit, and it's got like reminders on the side. Hey, if you want to level up your new sword, like go to this guy and finish his quest line or like shit like that. It was funny.
Yeah. You know what game was super underwhelming
What?
for me? Big Legend was New World.
Wait, which
It
one?
was just New
Oh,
World.
New World? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like I wanted to be kind of stoked for that, and then
Yeah. It
I was
good.
not really impressed during the beta.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, even when Alpha came out and I played that, I was like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, it was cool, but it's just like I mean, I literally only put like 7 hours into the game, I think, or 6.5 hours, and it just couldn't hold my attention. You know.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
like that with
literally,
MMOs,
that-
man.
That's not a good game, right? 6 hours in and you literally like, you're bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I gotta
Games-
say, man, that's kind of like my deal
it's
with
like
MMOs.
$40,
So
right?
I'm not the
Like
best
$40 game,
judge.
so what is that like making it's like $9 an hour of my time, $8 an hour.
Yeah,
But
it was I don't know. I'm hard to please when it comes to MMOs, anyways. So
yeah,
maybe I'm not the best judge, but yeah, I was definitely pretty underwhelmed. I mean, you can't solve the problems with the genre with world building. That's the issue. Is World of Warcraft gets away with that because it was one of the first games to be successful in doing that. But I mean,
right.
if you're copying World of Warcraft's mechanics for the most part, and then you just you're just trying to get people interested in your versions of all the same storytelling elements. It's like it's not gonna fly, man.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings may have kicked off a genre, but not every story's got to be about a man, an elf, and a dwarf. Shit gets old.
Yeah, it's true. Man, honestly, I just totally Lord of the Rings. I just brain dumped that whole Amazon trailer and everything.
It's still in my head, and I'm still like trying to be stoked. You know.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it. I think about it. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was thinking about that show coming out, and I was like, you know what? The best case scenario for me is because they own the rights of all Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. They start this show way back where they do, and if they want to reestablish and kind of make their own entire entity from start to finish, like start here, but then actually go into The Hobbit and do like a couple seasons of The Hobbit, and then do a couple seasons of do like 5-6 seasons of actual Lord of the Rings. Like I'm cool with that, but I need a full story then. Like if they do just this portion of it, then we're as fans we're just left to kind of have to like in our own headcanon it's gonna lead up to the Jackson films, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna be waiting on.
Yeah, they need to, and because they're not tied to those films at all, they need to just make their own. Like I would, I love Lord of the Rings. If they want to remake the Lord of the Rings trilogy into as a series format, dude, give me 8 seasons of Lord of the Rings. Like I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like give me a season of like young Aragorn. Different like I'm cool with it. It's been that movie came out in 2000. It's been 22 years. Like it's good for I'm good for a remake. Like,
it doesn't. No, what? Stop it! Stop it! It don't need no remake, man.
It doesn't need one. But I'm saying.
What's the Boromir? What's the Boromir line? He's like, fucking Lord of the Rings has no remake. Lord of the Rings needs no remake. Yeah, man, come on.
Yeah. It doesn't. No.
Don't even put that out there. We should delete this VOD, man. I don't want anyone to hear that.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't have to. But I'm saying if you're gonna do the whole what's it called? Like if you're just gonna make some new stuff up and it's not gonna lead to what we already have, like just make a whole new show, and then I'll judge your whole story based off 20 seasons. You know what I mean?
20 seasons. Jesus Christ, I would not watch 20 seasons of any show, pretty much. I mean,
that would be Amazon's long play, though, right? The Lord of the Rings is arguably, I mean, next to like Star Wars, and like it's one of the bigger and better IPs out there if they can do something right with it. So it's like their best play would be they own all the rights to all the books and the Hobbits. Like you might as well just run with it and do freaking 5 seasons per like I don't know per story arc. Give me 5 seasons of this made up some appendices stuff that you guys are working with. Give me like 2 seasons of the Hobbit or something. Give me another 4 or 5 seasons of Lord of the Rings. Not all different shows, but they all are connected. Connected universes are the thing, right? That's the thing these days.
Well, see, like I kind of want to challenge that. Like I don't need connected universes to be the thing. They're trying to. We're at the point where companies are trying to force connected universes to be the thing. It was cool when like Marvel Phase 3 or whatever, wrapped up with Avengers Endgame. But really, that was the era right there. Now it's all just
now it's that's the thing with Marvel too, though, is that is the end of an era. That's the end of the era of the original fans of like those Marvel movies. This new era is gonna be very different. So it's gonna be because it's all still connected, all still one story that references stuff from at this point 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. But really, this next arc, it's a whole new. They're basically making it where you can pick up at this new start, right, or these like newer movies, and you don't need to watch the other stuff because there's references to it, but they don't directly have the same interaction. This new arc is gonna have new villains that are bigger and grander. It's gonna have new storylines, new characters, a couple legacy characters to tie stuff in that sell tickets, like Thor or something. People that have like these big appeals, and there's always a couple actors that are lifers. They want to play a character. Like Hugh Jackman played Wolverine for 19 years, right? There's a couple actors
is he really on board to do that? Like to come back?
He did. He played Wolverine for 19 years.
No, I meant sorry, I'm talking about future works.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think he said he would come back for like a really really good story, but him and Patrick Stewart basically they like the way Logan ended off their storyline. But Patrick Stewart said that, and now Patrick Stewart's gonna be in the next Doctor Strange as Professor X. So
nice.
But the thing about like Hugh Jackman though and like his role Wolverine, very different than Patrick Stewart because Hugh Jackman, like what he had to put his body through to maintain that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
physique.
Well,
You're
considering
on
the
steroids.
age Patrick Stewart is now,
Well, yeah, but, I mean, Hugh Jackman,
what he's got to
Hugh
put his
Jackman's
body
what?
through to get up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thankfully, Fred X is in a wheelchair. So
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, he played that for a long time.
What about
But
when you
Hugh
poop?
Jackman's in his mid 50s, right? He's in his 55, 56, something like that. Like
Yeah, dude.
that dude's too old to be rocking 5% body fat and playing Wolverine. Like I'm down with the new. Like I'm down with the new. That's the nice thing about that. This is the one thing that Marvel and DC, even though the movies suck, but this is what the one thing about comic book movies have that benefits this type of medium is that for the past 80 years, comic books have always been revamped, always been redrawn, new stories. They've always done that. Every 5, 10, 15 years, a character will get a whole new beginning, a whole new origin story with all that backstory. They're constantly doing that. People die, they come back to life. So it's a perfect medium for them that they can just constantly revamp these characters and pass. And it's very much like legacy mantles. Captain America, Sam Wilson. Like that's not a new thing. Like that. Sam Wilson has been Captain America for the past 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then they also Steve Rogers Captain America sells and is so popular. They brought him back too, so he's back. So comic books they've built this into their culture, and so it's very digestible and no one has a problem with it.
Yeah.
But unlike like Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings, you can't do that, right? You can't just make Luke a new origin story for Luke Skywalker. The IP just not it's not built that way.
No,
It's not. It wasn't never established that. There's one storyline. They're not. They can't be going through time and doing all this other stuff that comic books can do because that's just not how they're built. You know what I mean? So
yeah, to be fair, targeting
these...
Marvel for that was probably a bad move on my part. Because you're right, comic books are uniquely built for that. And that's been the industry standard, for the last 6 decades.
Well, and the fan base, like nobody gets mad about that. You know what I mean? Like nobody's
exactly.
upset.
They're just used to it.
Nobody's upset that there's a new Captain America or whatever, or like Jane Foster becoming Thor. Like it's whatever. It's like it makes sense. Like
is that not simply because those fan bases and their characters, they've been through that discourse basically? I mean, because the first revamping of characters, in comic books, in Marvel comic books, happened decades ago. So
that's the thing.
So maybe they've just been through those growing pains. So is Star Wars really immune to this?
Well, I think that the thing about comic books though is that the medium of comic books is not. I mean, it's not super lucrative, you know what I mean? And they need to sell.
That's true.
They have to sell books, right?
Fair
so
enough.
The only way to sell books is you got to kill somebody off, or did you just fall off the map?
Dude,
you died.
This game gets really picky.
Dude, that was wild. You're not playing Assassin's Creed. You were trying to.
But that's what you have to do. There's a lot of platforming. Dude, that's one of the things that I do. That kind of irks me about this game, though.
So
I'm usually only mad as long as I'm dead.
Cape says, how many seasons of SG1? What's SG1, Cape? I'm trying to think.
Stargate.
Oh, right? Stargate. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of
shit.
Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate lasts.
I mean,
dude.
even like
Wait,
Doctor Who's still going. What are they on? Freaking season 45? Like, how many seasons of Doctor Who is there? And people watch that till they freaking die. Like,
Doctor Who
fans
sci-fi, right?
Doctor Who is honestly Doctor Who might be the craziest fandom.
It absolutely is.
Like people were all about that.
Yeah.
I know people were really pissy about when they switched to the girl.
Yeah, they're always like, oh my god, they can't be black, and just dumb shit like that.
26 seasons, Jesus. 26 seasons. Hold on, that's from 63 to 89.
Yeah, that's
two films. One TV film, and then 2005 to present, there's been 13 seasons.
Yep, the show's been on almost consecutively for 50 years.
There's as many episodes as there are episodes of One Piece. It's 1,000 episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
Bro, Doctor Who's just an anime at this point.
For real, dude. They should do a Doctor Who anime.
I've seen 5 episodes of Doctor Who. Maybe.
Look, I watched the Edelstein series, which he was on for one season. I watched the David Tennant one, which is one of the acclaimed ones, and then I grew up seeing older ones and whatnot. I saw Matt Smith's and the first of what's the older dude, the Christopher Lee Light, basically. And you know, they're goofy. The thing about Doctor Who is it doesn't really, it's not concerned with continuity. It's concerned with leading with an idea that seems interesting and then connecting the continuity back up later on, you know,
Right.
through time travel or fucking, you know, magic and shit. I mean, there's an episode where they go like a trillion years in the future and the last stars in the universe are going out and there's like one planet left with regular human beings that all still have G36Cs from like Eckler and Koch. You know, I don't know why. It's like the game doesn't, or the show doesn't care about making sense. It just cares about building enough scaffolding to support whatever crazy idea they come up for that episode. And honestly, I respect the hell out of them for that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying this jump again.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Hey, I didn't expect it to. I was not looking at going there. Never mind. Oh shit, die. But yeah, I mean, check out some Doctor Who, dude.
I don't know. We'll see. This doesn't bring this conversation about things brings to interest out the. At what point do you think a show like what? At what point is too many seasons? You know what I mean?
There's no such thing, dude. There's no such thing. Dude, if Golden
But
Girls
then, you know
hadn't
what's funny?
ended until Betty
But-
White died in December, I'd been fine with that.
This is the thing though, right? It's funny. It's not. It's never too many seasons until one season just sucks.
Well,
Like, Game of
see,
Thrones-
that's
Game of
the
Thrones
thing,
season
though.
8, right? Game of Thrones was great until season 8, and then everybody's like, "Yeah, screw this show," like, not watching it. And then, I mean, when was the last time we saw a fandom die so quick? Like,
As
dude,
with
within,
what?
like as Game of Thrones, like as soon as
Oh,
Game of
yeah,
Thrones
no, they
season
just
8,
disappeared.
yeah, like.
Well,
a
I
month
mean,
after
come on,
season
dude.
8,
Game of Thrones. What's Game of Thrones? It's like West Wing and swords and penises. All right, like
Yeah.
that's no offense, but that's mainstream shit. You know,
Yeah.
the only like the appealing thing to Game of Thrones is the drama factor of who's gonna die.
Well, I think that, and
That's-
then initially,
It makes
the
it like
big question
Survivor.
was- well, the big question was who was going to take the Iron Throne too, right? Initially, that was like the first couple seasons. You were like, oh,
There's only like
Iron
two
Throne.
people that are going to be candidates the whole time. Everyone knows
Yeah.
that from the get go.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I feel like I've talked about this over and over again, but I mean, how do you mess up such a simple character like Jon Snow in the end? You know
What
what
are
I
you
mean?
talking about?
Dude,
Dude,
just-
he got fucked the same exact way you would expect someone to get fucked for trying to do the right thing in that universe.
I know, but it's like, dude, and then he goes back to the Night's Watch on the wall, and there's no wall
Yeah.
left, and it's like,
Yeah.
he doesn't get to fight the Night King at all. He barely.
Yeah, they did like kind of fuck some
Like,
stuff
bro,
up, but
they,
like
they
the
7
overall
seasons
arc.
of leading up, like 7 seasons of teasing out a fight with that guy, and he fights him for 30 seconds, and it's not even a good fight. Like, stupid. Like, I would have rather him died. Like all those seasons of training and prepping for that moment, and then he dies, and then Arya kills the Night King. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But like,
Yeah,
would've
that
been more-
letdown was a little bit.
Imagine that twist, right? You're like, oh my gosh, they killed Jon Snow the 3rd episode of season 8. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? That'd have been wild. And then if they would have killed him off, then it would have been more accepting to make Bran or someone else the king. But like they just send this guy back to the Night's Watch to watch nothing. It's like, dude, what? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
No, that's the injustice of George R. R. Martin's universe.
well, I mean, I guess he didn't write the final ending, right? The writers.
I mean, he
It was
worked with
good.
him on it, didn't he? I mean, he basically was
Well-
like, "Here's my notes. This is what's gonna happen."
Yeah. You know what's funny though is that those writers. I was thinking about this. Is that those writers rushed because they wanted to. HBO wanted to do 10 seasons. The writers got an offer to do a Star Wars trilogy. They're like, yeah, we're not doing 10. We'll do 8. We'll wrap it up in this next season. They're like, all right, fine. So they rushed through and wrote a shitty 8th season. And then the 8th season was so bad they lost the Star Wars movie deal.
Well, what was so? I mean, all right. So I'm not gonna lie. I read the cliff notes of season 8. I haven't watched Game of Thrones since season 5 when the last
Season 5
book
was
was
good.
fucking waiting
Season
to come
5 was
out.
good.
It was.
Yeah.
But whenever I hear people complain about season 8 of Game of Thrones, they just complain about how they don't really mention that, like the production quality or anything like that, or really the quality of the story itself. They just complain about events that happened that they didn't like.
Yeah, so one thing, the payoff for the character arc payoffs are all terrible. None of them are really good.
Like how so? Give me a good example.
Well, I think the Jon Snow ones, like there's just obvious story moments that should have happened in the season finale that just didn't happen. Right?
Okay, so like that fight,
like-
right?
That fight was useless. He doesn't become king. he doesn't die or anything. Like it's like they send him back to the Night's Watch, and in that they establish the Night's Watch is like there's no need for them. The Night King's dead. There's no threat. Like there's no more wall. The wall's been broken. Like they're just literally going into the wilderness for nothing. He goes out.
Well,
In the
so
wild,
it's exile. I mean, it's exile.
It's not, but no one exiles him. It's like it's. I mean, it's like like he can. I don't
You know, they banish him back to that territory
Yeah.
because he kills the blonde chick.
Yeah, he kills Daenerys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Tyrion going back with his sister and dying in rubble, stupid. Because he had a really good arc, and then they ruined it
Yeah.
by having him run back to his psycho sister,
No.
and then they all died together in rubble. It's just so stupid. That was dumb.
Yeah, that is dumb, actually. Good point.
Arya has had the okay arc. He just fell again.
I mean, are there satisfying stories for you that don't require, how do you put it? So some of the failures you're pointing out, right? You're saying they're underwhelming and etc. But largely what it seems to be concerned with is like that they're not getting, I guess, the good ending that people think they deserve.
Well, it's just so not only that, but when you watch season 8, you can just tell it's very hastily put together.
Everyone's just done.
It's just like it, and at one point it was supposed to be X amount of episodes, and then they cut it and made it like 6 episodes, and like the thing is that because you can tell the show was not supposed to end season 8 because there was so much other stuff to pay off and figure out but they just compacted it into 6 episodes.
Just wrap it all up.
And really, season 8 after episode 3, season 8's kind of over. Like there's really not shit that happens outside of Daenerys goes crazy and burns down the main city or whatever. But like that, even that whole like it's just so rushed and like I don't know, dude. It's just not well put together. Like they could have what should have happened is season 8 should have been all about the fight against the Night King and his zombie people. That should have been all of season 8 because they were hyping it up. They're saying that it's the biggest production fight sequence since fucking Helm's Deep, which was bullshit. It sucked. It is. The fact that they even wanted to compare those two fight sequences to each other is ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
It's just ridiculous, bro. It's just ridiculous. Like it's just not this. I don't know what they were thinking, but they missed the mark. Now, if they would have spent all of season 8 fleshing out that, dude, literally the big final fight against the good versus evil is literally half an episode. You know what I mean? And then Jon Snow doesn't even really fight the guy, so it's stupid. It's like it's just like that's a waste. So then that happens, right? Episode 3, basically the main story that you've been leading up to for 10 years is done. And now you have Daenerys, who's like she decides to finally go take over the capital, whatever. She goes crazy. She's a psycho, whatever.
Yeah.
Does all that thing. You know what I mean? They do like they try to like.
I mean, what's the progression? What's the progression of her psychosis? Is it she wakes up one morning, she's like, you know what? Fuck these people. I'm gonna burn everything.
Yeah, it's like an episode.
There's no like discourse. There's no like argumentation or events that lead her to think that way. She just goes from not thinking that way to thinking that way.
They always kind of hint that she's a little crazy and aggressive, right? Like there's always like moments, but I mean the biggest thing is she just is like all of a sudden you just see her like she gets like really jealous of like Jon Snow, and the fact that he's also a Targaryen, because she's like his aunt or some shit.
Yeah.
So like then she gets like really
must make the sex pretty hot.
Yeah, but yeah, she basically just gets like instantly threatened by that, and then she's all weird though for like the next couple episodes, and then she just gets super selfish and like yeah. Yeah, basically. I don't know. It's just
that explains it a little bit better. Yeah.
But then so season 8 should have been the main fight. Season 9 should have been the last 3 episodes, which is basically Daenerys starting to go crazy, fighting against that should be a big story arc, her taking over the capital. And then instead they do it in a 40-minute episode. You know what I mean? And also in that same episode, the Hound fights the Mountain. Freaking Tyrion Lannister and the whole Lannister dynamic happens in that same episode. There's just so much that goes on, and it's so quickly you get a couple minutes per
so wrapped story. Up. Oh man,
I mean
that does sound unsatisfying.
Imagine a 10-year arc, and you get 3 minutes to close out their freaking 3 or 5 minutes to close out their arc. It's stupid. It's just and the whole time, and then you come to find out that these guys literally just said no to 10 seasons because they wanted to hurry up and start working on Star Wars because they wanted that Disney money, and then they write such a shitty season that they lose the Star Wars contract. It's like
Cape Corona puts it Puts it well. Reading bullet points. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that's a shame. Y'all deserve better than that. I mean, I enjoyed Game of Thrones at its inception, but it wore out its
Well, the
welcome.
thing is, I know that's a good point. That it felt like bullet points too, because if you think of the books are really in depth, right? They're very similar
super
to
dense.
like Tolkien's writing. Like there's a lot in there, and then basically they're just pulling out bullet points, which kind of brings us back to the Amazon show. Is they're basically operating off bullet points for the Second Age. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
so I am kind of concerned as to what the filler is going to look like.
They're giving it 5 seasons, but 5 seasons out of what we I think it's 5.
Okay.
I think it's 5 seasons with a guaranteed spinoff, is what it was.
I don't need a spinoff. God damn it, they got to stop this shit.
It'll probably be like a Sauron or some shit. I don't know.
Goddamn Sauron, the fucking sitcom.
Yeah, I know. Sauron the Handsome. One. Yeah. But that's like we looked at it and what it was like a couple paragraphs or independencies that are regard or not. It's like one timeline that's like 2 pages long and then a couple paragraphs of the Second Age events, and like that's basically what they're using to write 5 seasons of a TV show. It's like either you guys are really knowledgeable and are great writers and you'll be able to put a lot of good meat in there, or you're gonna just try to make some stuff up and it's gonna suck. Like this show is one of 2 ways: either it sucks or it's good. It's not gonna have an in between. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's either gonna be good and enjoyable, or we're gonna watch it and be like, dude, what?
And I remember we did research into the writers and their backgrounds, and honestly, I was expecting people with a little bit more gravitas to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was kind of surprised that they stuck with these. I mean, maybe newcomers isn't the right word, but shoot, they certainly hadn't published a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's just like, I don't know, dude. It's crazy to me because they have a Tolkien expert on staff. They let him go because he leaked something out that wasn't even. What he leaked out? He leaked out the fact that they only had the rights to the Lord of the Rings and the appendices and the Hobbit. I think is what he leaked out, and they let him go. So it's like, okay, you let go of your one expert on the whole show that's supposed to tie everything together and make sure you guys aren't going too crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's just.
Oh, that guy lived? You son of a bitch.
Sorry if I'm distracted for a couple minutes while we talk. I'm trying to order groceries online. Too lazy to go to the store with 2 kids.
You fucking dickbag.
Dude, I love my boys to death, bro, but man, they're inconvenient. I'm not trying to take them to the store with me. Dude, I'll pay the extra $20 and have it delivered.
Yeah, kids are the worst, man.
They're the worst and the best.
Yeah, there you go.
They're great.
I love mine.
I love my kids, and they're great until they're not. You know what I mean?
Great until they're not. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I want to be up there. How do I get up there? Can I fall up there? I bet I can. See, this game is all about experimentation. That's one thing I'm really enjoying. I don't mind if I like fall 800 times trying 900 different routes.
I see that freaking. If my wife's my son has such sensitive skin, it's ridiculous.
Them fair skinned redheads, man.
You know?
All right, so I'm gonna drop down here. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna drop down here, and it's gonna collapse, and I am gonna roll. No! Oh shit! I fucked myself. Look at this. Look how badly I fucked myself.
What? Oh, you got a little ledge right there?
Yeah. There's a little lip that caught me. I was trying to roll off the bridge as it fell.
Can you not drop on the bridge or you die? It's too high of a fall.
It's probably too high. You can toss I think a warming stone item, and the warming stone will actually break at your terminal fall distance, So if you just throw it off a cliff, it'll burst at the same height that you would die if you'd hit the ground that high. And so you can test ledges that way by just dropping a warming stone down there. And if it just hits the ground and rolls, then you're good. But if it breaks before it hits the ground, then that's your fall height. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Actually, I'll test it out. I don't know if I can turn around, though. Oh, there we go. Okay, so warming stone. I think it's the warming stone. You just drop that sucker, and... Oh! I would survive. I mean, I think. As long as that's the right stone. Yeah, there we go. Bam. But I want to get up on that ledge, so I'm going to go back to the site of grace anyways.
Is there a DLC for Elden Ring coming out, or is it like? Because I imagine it's probably gonna be like an Elder Scrolls game, right? Like people have been playing Elden Ring for the next like 6 years.
That's kind of. I mean, really, all From Software does is they basically are just like copy pasting most of the mechanics for all their games over to each new title, and then they just change the names of everything. And they come up with like
that make Dark Souls, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do basically. It's it's entertaining. They usually try to like innovate a thing or two here and there. So like obviously the change to open world is a big deal. You got a mount that you're riding around on, things like that. So the games aren't all the same. So it's not fair to say that necessarily, but they work off a pretty. It's kind of like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I can't stand Call of Duty, dude.
I can't either. Oh, I made it.
Fuck yeah. You want to talk about a miss? Is that Halo game?
Why is it a miss?
They just didn't. It's just not. I'm talking about from like the streaming and competitive scene wise, like Halo just did not do what it said it was gonna do. Like they put a lot of money into like getting some pros and FaZe, the gaming company or whatever.
Yeah.
Big Call of Duty company, and they have a Halo team. They paid I'm assuming an absorbent amount of money to pull this pro Apex streamer Snipe down.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on TSM, and he ended up when Halo was getting announced to come out. Right before it came out, he announced that he was leaving TSM, which is like the biggest Apex pro team in the world, like, or one of the biggest. They win all the tournaments. Like, they're really freaking good.
Like the New York Yankees of Apex Legends.
Yeah, so he's leaving that. He left that team to join FaZe, which is weird because FaZe is a Call of Duty team, and I mean they're really popular against like amongst kids and stuff. I think like younger kids. But he basically left TSM to go to FaZe to play pro Halo, because that's where he came from originally. I think was Halo back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's like he went over there and he's just demolishing. Like he's just way better like mechanically. Like Halo mechanics are just not the same as like Apex by far has the hardest mechanics. Like movement, like the skill gap is definitely there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think he went and he was dominating Halo, but also it's like the game just came out and like had a shitty rank system. It didn't have a battle royale mode, which they said they were going to work on, and they did. They decided to launch the game without battle royale. It's a huge miss. And then dude, like now they have like this guy they paid a bunch of money for, and he doesn't even really play Halo. He plays Apex still. He went back to Apex after like a couple days of playing, and so now he literally only plays Halo for like the pro scrims and tournaments, and then just plays Apex and other games in between that time. It's like he doesn't even have to play Halo to practice it. Like it's just such a miss. And then you watch it, dude, and like no one's streaming it. You know what I mean? Like Disrespect's not streaming it. Like Tim, like none of those bigger streamers. Yeah. Nobody's playing the game. You know what I mean? Except for like some old like diehard Halo fans.
See, that's what I wanted to point at, is because this is what I noticed about the game. Messed around with it for a little bit. I never really played Halo multiplayer. I played co-op story mode with my friends. That was our thing. And so when it came to comparing the old multiplayer to the new multiplayer, I was realizing I was just thinking, oh, this is the same game. This is Halo 3.
Yeah.
It's the same game. It's the same exact game. Which everyone arguing about, what's better, new or, freaking what. There's always that argument of, the new or the old which is better. But I think they really lost that case there. It's not better. It's boring. It's great for people who were looking for the same exact game, but I don't know why people do that, to be honest. Like, I want new mechanics. I want new stories. There are games that I would like to see remastered, but
in a
that's
shooter,
better.
in the FPS space, battle royale is just the thing you need to have in there. And a Halo battle royale probably would have been cool. But it's they don't do it, and you miss the mark. It's like,
well, there are a lot of mechanics that suit battle royale environments well that Halo is just not a party to. Halo's straightforward. It doesn't have an in-depth physics system, things like that. It's pretty basic. It's more like Quake Arena, to be honest.
Yeah. My counter argument would be Call of Duty is the same way. It's a super basic game.
It is. It is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
They have battle royale. Like, it's not. And I feel like battle royales fit games that have like that unrealistic nature to them, like a Halo, right? Like an Apex, like they're like futuristic or whatever, otherworldly. But then you can do some cool stuff, cool armors and whatever abilities and shit. Another game without a miss, Battlefield. Play that game.
Dude, that game didn't just miss. It floundered hard. Yeah. I uninstalled it. Like,
why are the matches so long? I played one match where it was like 45 minutes. I was like, Jesus.
Dude, that's fine. That's classic to Battlefield, long ass matches. But the thing is, in the previous titles, there was half the
time running to a freaking checkpoint.
No, in this game, yes, that was actually one of the problems with their map design. Yeah.
I know, like, you have to. I spawn. I have to spend 5 minutes to get into fucking combat.
I don't know what spell break is, Kate. What's spell break? That's a problem they're actually trying to address. I guess now is
it's fucking too late.
They're redoing maps, and they're adding more battlefieldy elements to them. Apparently they were too clean, and they were too clean. The maps are
the best
sterile.
Thing about Battlefield.
It doesn't look like there's a war going on until you show up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the best thing about Battlefield is that the maps are destructible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they didn't even do a great job at that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that my... Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. This game, my boy. Can I survive that? I think I can survive that. Yes! Awesome. Okay. Half the time, I don't even know if I'm doing this as intended or if I'm just pulling something out of my ass, but
that's kind of the... So explain... So one thing I have a question on that I don't understand. I just... Is like the rune system or whatever? Like, is that how you level up? Is that money?
Yes,
like,
it is.
It's
everything. It's all currency. It's currency for progression. It's currency for purchasing.
So how does that work? Is there like vendors, like merchants in the game?
There are merchants. No, and this is the great thing. This is what I'm really enjoying about this game is that it gives you an alternative version of even the most basic systems. So the idea of the vendor in a game where you can buy upgrades from or whatever, you can kill those guys. And if you do, they'll drop this little item. And if you take that item to this specific character at this kind of hub area, then you can access the items that they sold. So you can basically centralize, the vendors in a way as you progress through the game. But where it's different is that it's making that an option. Whereas a game like Far Cry is going to be like, hey, you go over there if you want to buy guns, and you go over there if you want to buy shoes, and you go over there if you want to buy edible underwear. This game kind of, it has the merchants spaced out, so there's this idea of exploration. It feeds into the idea of exploration. You have to find them, you have to go to them. But it gives you this alternative also if you're sick of doing that. Or this is like your third playthrough or something like that. You meet them, you buy a bunch of stuff, you kill them, you get their item, and then now it's all centralized. The game really focuses on interconnectedness between all of its elements and then replayability of the whole experience. And I think the golden goose there is that they've built the gameplay experience itself around the live, die, repeat concept.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
it's, I mean, because that's the life cycle of a game itself.
Yeah.
You boot it up, you play it, you finish it, you turn it off. But most games don't have you coming back doing that part over and over again.
Yeah, definitely seems like the game has a lot of replayability. That's for
It
sure.
absolutely does.
Which is cool. I mean, that's getting your getting your money's worth and your time spent. That's good. That's got a good reward.
Yeah, it even allows you to respec in the middle of.
Oh, really? You can reset. Is there
So you have to
character?
earn that ability. Again, like everything's like cost benefit in this game. So they don't just give you that ability. You have to beat one of
Right.
the major bosses in order to obtain
Sure.
that ability.
Okay.
And then there's a currency in the form of this item that there's a limited supply of in each run through. There's like 18 spaced out throughout the map. So you have a limited number of opportunities to actually use that mechanic after you've unlocked it.
Got it. Is it like a reclass
It's reclassing. It gives you all of your points back, and then you
so,
just spend them.
yeah. What are the classes? I'm sorry. I mean, like what?
Well, okay, so
It's
it's
like
not
base,
so
like,
much.
mage,
It's not so much classes.
you know,
Yeah,
berserker
it's
type stuff, or what
it's
is it? Or is
these
it like play
attributes.
styles.
It's these attributes, and it's the combination of the attributes and then the equipment, items, and weaponry that you are utilizing, and it requires an understanding of how those items, equipment, weapons, and like spells or incantations actually can affect each other, which is always giving me something new to try out and makes the experience a lot more refreshing each time you play than most games. I mean, Call of Duty is my best example of like a shitty meta because the changes that you make for the meta are not really tangible changes. There's fire rate and accuracy, etc., to guns that all boils down to 2% this, 4% that you can't really experience. You can experience in your overall stats, which is what people are largely concerned about with Call of Duty for the most part. But like I want to see that in the moment to moment experience, which is why I love Apex, because
Right.
each gun functions differently. So you have to have a wider pool of knowledge. It's actually more it's more like this game than it is Call of Duty in that respect. So so I have swapped between. All right, so I just gotta say I was terrified of Dark Souls or of Souls-like games. I was terrified of battle royales and horror
Yeah.
games, and they all have something in common. Because I'm not actually like a scaredy cat or anything, but what they have in common is there's a really large investment made up front, and that you can lose very very quickly. Battle royales. You go through all this lobby time, you go through all this setup, you go through all this
Right.
thinking, and then you die on drop, right?
Yeah.
Or you have
Or you get all your loot and then you die first fight.
a long, boring match, where
Yeah.
and then you're dead in like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Souls-like games are like that as well. You're going along just fine, and then you walk past a corner too fast, and there's a guy just like hanging out, and he stabs you in the back and kills you.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this though is it sears that moment in your memory, and so each time you're going through this, you're building you're putting one more brick in the road in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's really rewarding when you figure out the combinations that work for you. So what happened was I basically started off this game. It was like, it's open world. It's got a lot of things that I think I'll like. So I'm actually going to give this Souls-like game a chance. And what I realized was I was not being successful with it. I did not understand its leveling system, and it was really frustrating, and I wasn't having fun. So I went to cheat builds, and you can break pretty much any build in this game. Like, you get the right gear, you combine the right things, you use them the right way, and you can one-shot enemies, like even major bosses. This was working for me for quite a while until I realized I was reaching really high-level bosses that were maybe too fast for the build that I had. So I had this really good, liturgy. I go in, I go to the boss, or I go to the fight, and I do this, and then I do that, and then I do this, and then I do that, and then bam, that gets me my one-hit kill, or my barely victory. I have a lot of bosses. I got a lot of clips I'll have to share of bosses that died right after I did. So I still get the victory technically.
Right.
You know? So I had to learn how to adapt the build that I was essentially relying, to cheese the game with. And it was still, even making the build was a difficult experience. So it's been very rewarding.
Right.
I don't even know what the hell's behind this door. I didn't do any research on this guy.
Right. This.
Oh, it's a god skin guy. Oh, I don't have my... What? Oh, no summons, huh? Oh, fuck this guy. All right. So the cool thing, you get the... I mean, they space all the save points out, really.
Yeah.
So you're not, like, slogging through half an hour's worth. This is actually... That was my problem with Alien Isolation is,
Yeah, you got
fuck,
that
man. Dude, I did... I spent 40 minutes making it 30 feet through this fucking spaceship and whatnot, and then I find this like air vent, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna steamboat all the way through here, and the game is basically telling you, yeah, dude, do this. There's this big like open area up ahead. This is the right thing to do. I crawl my ass in there, and the fucking alien's in there, bit my goddamn head off. I felt betrayed, by the game, and it was funny, but I was pretty pissed. I had to redo that whole, like, almost hour of gameplay. And it's just, I don't know, I wasn't about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and horror games are a lot like that, There's very high risk and not always high reward, which I think is worth pointing out. Sometimes you go through a bunch of shit in this game. I mean, usually they give you, like really good stuff. It just may be stuff that you don't use for the build that you're working on.
Yeah, I feel like Elden Ring 2 has a very good it's got good watchability from like a streaming standpoint. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes games have a hard time. Like it's hard to because you can die so quickly. It's kind of, as a viewer, you're kind of like on edge more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think similar to a battle royale, right? Where you kind of like
it's nerve wracking.
Are you gonna lose everything? You know what I mean? Like the reward, and if you do beat a boss, it's like very rewarding. Oh shit, they got him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that games like that are good just from a content creation standpoint, or just from like people who want to watch some gameplay. 'Cause I feel like Assassin's Creed, right? Like that game's not really fun to watch because it's like there's not a ton of risk involved overall.
There's nothing about it that excited me. Like none of my successes or whatever.
Right. But in Elden Ring, it's like I guys watched this boss one shot you 2 times basically. So it's like if you kill him, it's like, oh shit, you got him. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
You
can spend. Dude, I spent 2 weeks trying to kill the one of the late game bosses, Malekith, and it's because the build that I've been relying on was not conducive to like his fighting style, and so I spent the last 2 weeks like trying to design a build that I could kill this guy with, and I kept getting down to like the end of the line, and it just wasn't doing it for me. And when I finally fucking succeeded, I was stoked. I was just like relieved. It was a good feeling to have.
Yep.
And I don't remember the last time a game made me feel that way. Probably like the first time I prestiged in Call of Duty. I gotta say. I mean, The Witcher. But The Witcher's more enriching for story and less like... There aren't a whole lot of moments in The Witcher where you're like, oh man, like I worked really hard for this. I mean, I play that game on Death March.
Right.
Yeah, suck my balls. Alright. Oh, I should go spend those, But yeah, you end up learning all these little habits that build up, and it just ends up being a gaming experience you're very aware of, whereas a game like, a game like an Assassin's Creed just isn't memorable. Like, I don't remember anything about it. which
Yeah, I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Odyssey, and even that was like, like it was a cool game. It was fun, but it was,
uh,
you know, I don't know.
they're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllables. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Spellbreak is a battle royale. So Kate, and I know I'm taking forever answering your questions about this, but or asking you questions about this, but what's so there are a lot of battle royales, and as far as I'm concerned, Apex is peak battle royale for me. It's got everything that I could really enjoy. So what is it about Spellbreak that makes you want to tell people about it? Whenever you get to that. Godslayer's Greatsword, cool. I'm gonna have to run like a melee build at some point because, I mean, that's when you really need to know the boss's moves.
Right.
I do not know how to get this divine tower open. Oh wait, I think no, there's probably somebody you gotta kill that I haven't killed yet. That's usually the answer. Oh, there's another merchant up here. I'm gonna buy from him and then I'm gonna kill him. So that's what I'm doing on this run through. This game, one thing I like about it is it lets you reestablish your NPC connect or reset your NPC connections. So if you kill like a good player, but you acquire this certain item and you go to this certain church, you can be absolved of your sins and it will reset the aggro on all of those relationships. So NPCs that you provoked that ended up trying to kill you won't try to do that anymore, and you can like do their quests and stuff like that. This is pretty interesting. They look at a lot of aspects of the game that, you know, just most people don't. Most games don't think about. I mean, shoot, Assassin's Creed only thinks about consequences as far as, like, it wants players to be able to explore, like, their choices without actually having to deal with the consequences of those choices. There's reactions, but not really consequences, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's just kind of, I don't know. They're gorgeous games. I just wish there was more to them than that. Like, do I already have this? Land Reeds of Armor?
You know what a crazy world we live in, dude. Like I literally just put an order in for groceries, and there's literally some chick Vanessa just out here buying my groceries for me. Like,
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like
the future.
just free market capitalism at its finest. You do. It's all about it. Things, the luxuries of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least of a first world.
Yeah.
Yeah. The convenience, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy to think the things that will be conveniently. I wonder when we'll hit our next big jump in convenience. I feel like in the past, like through COVID, we really hit a big jump in like delivery services because of people weren't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So like it had to progress very quickly. Like we probably jumped like 3 to 5 years ahead of schedule with delivery and streaming and all that stuff. Like because people just were at home and they needed to have stuff delivered.
Yeah.
I wonder what our next big jump in convenience as a society will be. You know what I mean? Like after we're already getting groceries, where you can order alcohol, you can watch anything you want straight to your TV, even stuff that's in theaters sometimes. You know what I mean? Like it's what's next? What's the next big convenience play? So, I don't know.
It's gonna depend on who ends up winning the fight between corporations and labor.
Well, I think
that's heating up because of all the other issues that are going on.
Corporations are definitely starting to lose this independent, like this free market, especially when it comes to media, like information media. I think corporate's losing, but at the same time though, when it comes to content creation, I mean it's hard to compete with Disney and Netflix. I think, you know what I mean? As a
It depends on what content you're looking for, right?
But that's true too. I mean, like live streaming. Like I watch a lot more like streamers and gamers and like those type of freelance content creators than I do. I really only watch TV for a couple shows. I watch like
exactly
the Disney Plus like Marvel Star Wars shows.
Mm-hmm.
I watch like Survivor, but that's like outside of that, I don't watch a ton of shows. And then the movie, a movie once or twice a month if something's coming out.
Yeah,
Or if I'm
exactly.
rewatching. But a lot of movies I watch, I rewatch. I rewatch Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter. Like like I rewatch the same stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Did you see that bill they passed in Washington recently that by 2030 all new
Oh,
vehicles
yeah,
would
internal
have to be
combustion
electric?
engines will be banned for import.
Yep. For
Yeah, I'm pretty
a,
stoked about
a,
that.
any car built 2030 or newer is gonna have to be electric for Washington
Yep,
State.
I'm pretty psyched. I'm already
I mean,
I'm
it
already
sounds
looking
cool,
at
but
picking up a new car. I'm gonna buy an EV.
there's not enough charging stations in Washington to support. Like they need to get on that because
Well, that's why it's only they got 8 years.
that's not a lot of time, dude.
That's plenty of time. Actually, shoot, I've been wondering that how many charging stations there are. Now it's going to depend on like the range of the vehicles. Average EVs are hitting about 300 miles for a full charge, so that's going to affect like how many stations you really need, right?
How many charge stations? I don't know. I didn't have to look up how many charging stations. How many charging stations are needed?
Oh well, I mean, you could ask how many charging stations there are. I mean, you got what 3,000 miles from one tip of the country to the other. You know,
Okay, so the U.S. currently has 18 and a half electric vehicles per charging plug. That's not great.
18 and a half vehicles per plug.
Per plug.
I
That's not
mean,
great.
what do you mean that's not
So,
great?
I mean, that's dude. Do you imagine?
We don't really have any point of reference. Like,
I mean, that's just the current. It says it's a. Oh, crazy! If you look up charge stations, it tells you how many are in use currently. That's wild.
yeah, they got a whole network for that.
Yeah, but it says this is coming from Axios.com. I don't know them, but I don't want to sign up for a daily briefing. Okay, let's see. So it says the U.S. has 18.5 EVs, electric vehicles, per charging plug today, but international benchmarks suggest that one charger is needed for every 10 to 15 electric vehicles. Okay, so we're close.
Yeah, that
I
ain't
guess
bad.
if that's even in California, the leading U.S. market for electric cars, adoption is outpacing charger deployment in some cities. Yeah, that makes sense. I believe it. I mean, you have to think. I mean, obviously, the play is to just have an outlet converted in your house and just have it at home. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's what I have.
Oh, do you have one?
Yeah, I have one for the Leaf. Now, the Leaf is an old EV. It's like a 2010, 2011. It only gets like
Yeah.
65 miles on a charge, and it's a decent little like city
this
driver, but
this is not a this is like a concerning stat for EVs, but it says they've discovered that only 9.7% of households in the U.S. cities have access to an EV charging station within a quarter mile or a 5-minute walk home.
mm-hmm. A lot of charging stations are going to be. A lot of them
Grocery
are
store.
installed at job sites. We have charging stations at hospitals and things like that. They're not going to be growing independently like gas stations are, right? That's kind of actually
Yeah.
the beneficial thing about them is that rather than having them parsed out between all the different companies, they're tied in with the electrical grids, which
Yeah.
kind of makes them it gives a public access angle to the whole technology, which disincentivizes this idea of like private ownership and cost setting of electric vehicle charging stations. So I don't know exactly how the details of rates and whatnot work for like Tesla and whatnot,
Well,
but the motivations are a little different.
They're giving tax kickbacks too for buying an electric vehicle.
Yeah, I'm getting solar installed in my house for that same reason.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
quotes.
I mean, it makes sense where you're at too, though. You get a decent amount of light.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Yeah.
that's not. I mean, shoot, newer solar panel tech is able to charge during night.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I was just hearing about that. So we'll
That makes
see.
sense,
We'll
'cause
see how
it's
that
not-
proliferates.
it's not like UV or whatever isn't coming through still. You know what I mean?
You know what? I don't know the details to be honest, but
Is it like super advanced using like moonlight? That'd be sick.
yeah, right. Lunar panels.
Dude, that'd be sick. Um,
Dude, fucko, what are you doing? Get away from me. Get away from me, you son of a
EVs are
bitch.
great unless you live where I do and it's cold. Yeah, maybe.
Unless
Yeah, I
you,
guess
unless what?
unless you live where it's cold. I mean, yeah, electronics in the cold
Uh,
don't do well. Unless I mean, I don't know. Teslas are pretty good. I feel like if I was to get an EV, I would probably get a Tesla just because hipster from Seattle. So
I mean, so I've looked into that, the charging issues in the cold, and people do talk about losing like maybe 10 miles on a charge. It doesn't seem too
I mean,
severe though. And
yeah, I mean,
if you look at places,
you're gonna
because
lose a little bit
Corona
naturally.
and I have had this conversation, I think. He lives in like Michigan. I mean, they already have to deal with cars rusting out because of you know all the salting on the roads they have to do, all the moisture.
Yeah.
Nothing's without its problems, which is why you got to look at the benefits there. So I wish this push had come like 10 years ago, but honestly, we've been behind in battery technology for quite a while. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. EVs are cool. I'll probably end up getting if I do get an EV, it'll probably be SUV for the wife. So
Yeah, isn't Rivian the company making those?
I don't know. I like the Bronco EVs. The
Oh
new
yeah, that's
Bronco.
right.
I don't. The model they came out with doesn't have a super big charge for mileage wise. It's okay. I mean, it's comparable to what's out there, but I would like to get maybe the next couple models when it comes out with a bigger charge.
Hmm.
Especially because if it's gonna be for the wife and stuff, I don't having to worry about like you know running out of juice or something. So
I mean, honestly, dude, driving around the Leaf with its short range, I've never actually had to worry about that.
you charge it every day. You just plug it in at night or what?
No, actually, I only charge it. I only charge it every couple of days. I mean, I do use it for short trips. And again, it's 10 years old. You know,
Yeah. Well,
so
even like even Priuses still hold up. You know.
well, Priuses are hybrids, and hybrids are a scam.
Mm.
Um,
Well, they just turn the engine off, right, and like run.
well,
Or,
they recharge the electric battery using gas power, which burns
yeah.
any gas power you'd be saving by using an electric
Yeah.
battery in the
That makes
first
sense.
place. So it's yeah. Hybrids were basically like they were what energy like progressives could get away with
Hmm.
in a country that doesn't give a shit about like its energy future. So like
Yeah.
they're like, all right, well we'll take the thing that and I guess we'll just make it a little bit better, even though they suck. I mean, they're trash. They're super complicated because they're running two different systems, so they're more
Yeah.
expensive to repair and all this shit. And it's
Yep.
just it's like fuck that. I would never run a hybrid.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
oh shoot, all right, I actually got to get going in a minute, so I
Yeah.
gotta pick up my kids.
I thought the
But
same thing.
yeah, dude, new game plus, man. I just
Yeah,
went and
man.
crushed Margit, easy peasy.
Yeah, it was cool. I
D's
dig that.
nuts. Yeah.
I'm actually probably going to be. I need to. I'm working on cleaning up my office a little bit. I kind of reorganized. I'm trying to make some space.
Hmm.
I've got a little tripod for my iPhone, but I need to get a little table in here because I've got a couple Lego sets I'm going to be building.
Oh,
And
nice.
also putting on display, but I want to do like a nice little video with a little time lapse and some chill music behind it. But
Okay.
we got, and I'll post those. I'll post those on the channel as well. But I'll be doing this one right here, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's
Can
got
you actually wear it?
No,
Oh.
the fingers though they can be manipulated. So
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
you can kind of design. So I'll be building that one. The first one I started it, but then I had to put it back in the box so I can do it on a video
Mhm.
and then display it. But the next one will be the Kylo Ren shuttle. So
That one's
this will be
sick.
the first. This will be the first one I build right here. Will be
Mhm.
the Kylo Ren shuttle. So I did the first like 50 pieces already, but I'm just saving it now. And then the next one, where's it at? I think that shows the most recent one I got. But it'll be the Red 5. It'll be Luke's X-wing.
Yes, I love
So
that one. I
I'll
got
do
that
Luke's
one.
X-wing. And then I'm gonna be getting Anakin's Pod Racer and Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. So I'll be getting those two, and those two will also be built in videos uploaded on those. So I'll probably make a little playlist on the channel for little Lego builds.
Mm-hmm.
Some ASMR chill. I'll just time lapse them. I
That'd be so
may, I
cool.
may, I may build them on stream. I haven't decided yet.
Be cool.
But yeah, I might just. I think just a cool little time lapse too might be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people are into that, and
We
then
could use
I
a
definitely
time
want to
lapse
show
for
the
like TikTok.
yeah, yeah, for sure. That'd be good. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to like. I'll have them to get this. I'll get them displayed and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a cool company called Wicked Brick. I don't know if you heard of them,
No,
but
I haven't.
they're like a licensed display company. So they sell like displays with plaques that are made for each like major
Oh,
Lego set.
nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they're I'm getting and they all have like a lot of them have like backdrops and stuff for the cases.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting one for the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's like it mounts to the wall, and it's got like a cool little space theme behind it, and it
Oh,
just
that
holds
is.
it perfectly in the case.
I gotta
Which
check
is
that
pretty
out
sweet.
because
Yeah,
I've already
Wicked
got
Brick.
a big collection that I'm gonna have to display at some point.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, just wickedbrick.com here. I'll
Wicked
send
Brick.
actually. I'll put the even though I have
Yeah,
no
I'll pull it up
I
now
have
on
no
my
what's
own
it called.
too.
I have no affiliation with them, but I'll put their link in the chat. People are interested.
Yeah, I do gotta
Um,
get running though. I was a little late
and
calling it.
yeah.
But
There's I put the link in the chat, so wickedbrick.com, yeah. So that's the
awesome.
link right there. But yeah, check that out. They got Star Wars, freaking all the major Lego sets that are actually like worth building.
Mm-hmm.
They have displays for them, and they have ones
Nice.
like every Star Wars display though too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But all right, dude. I'll
All
let
right.
you, I gotta bounce as well. So
Yeah, we'll be doing this again next week.
yep.
You and I, let's talk about a plan,
Yeah,
or we
we gotta
can
get
keep
on
chill.
on a good schedule.
Let's
And then,
just yeah, let's just
I
be
definitely want to get on a on like an upload schedule too, just for consistency content wise. Like at least get one type of video or highlighter clip posted a week
Mhm.
outside of our live stream. So
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, all right, dude.
All right. Well, you have a good one, man. I'll catch you later.
Yeah, yeah.
And thanks
You
for
too.
stopping
Peace
by.
out.
Yeah, Isaac.